If you've been watching the crypto space for any time now, you know XRP isn't just another altcoin. It is a cornerstone of the future of global payments. Backed by Ripple, XRP is designed to make cross-border transactions instant, cheap, and seamless. Something traditional banking systems like SWIFT still struggle with. But with new updates, partnerships, and market momentum building, XRP is once again back in the building. Welcome to JRNY TV, where we simplify the fast-moving world of crypto so you can make more informed, faster decisions. Today we are diving headfirst into the battle between two heavyweights, XRP and XLM. They may look similar on the surface, but the deeper you go, the more important that you realize their differences become. Let's start with Ripple and the role XRP plays in their mission to overhaul global finance as we know it. Ripple, or XRP, is a fintech company laser-focused on transforming international money movement for banks and payment providers. Its native asset, XRP, it acts as a bridge currency that facilitates instant liquidity and settlement for cross-border transactions. Built on the XRP ledger, XRP allows for lightning-fast transactions and ultra-low fees, which is exactly why Ripple has partnered with over 100 financial institutions around the globe. While XRP has faced its fair share of regulatory pressure, it's still one of the most adopted digital assets in the real-world financial system. Quick overview of Stellar and XLM. While Ripple has focused on working directly with banks and payment providers, Stellar took a bit of a different path, but with some familiar roots. Stellar was co-founded in 2014 by Jed McCaleb, one of Ripple's original founders, after a split in vision of how blockchain should serve the world. Where Ripple leans toward institutional adoption and private partnerships, Stellar is all about accessibility, creating financial infrastructure for the unbanked and underbanked around the globe. Only 1.4 billion people, right? Built on its own protocol, the Stellar Consensus Protocol, sometimes known as the SCP, the Stellar network is designed to move money quickly and cheaply. Its native token Lumens, XLM, has helped facilitate fast, low-fee currency exchanges across borders. With confirmations in about 5 seconds and fees typically costing a fraction of a penny, Stellar has in fact become a key player in remittance and microtransaction use cases around the world. Its open source nature and mission-driven approach have earned it the adoption from NGOs, fintech companies, and even national governments. Recently, the Stellar Development Foundation, known as the SDF, unveiled ambitious plans to expand its real-world asset footprint. By the end of 2025, they aim to hold over $3 billion worth of RWA's real-world assets on-chain and move more than $110 billion with a B in volume. That growth is being powered by partnerships with big names like Paxos, Ondo, SG Forge, and Franklin Templeton, companies that all are bringing tokenized assets into the crypto economy through Stellar's rails. Still, while Stellar's technology and impact are impressive, XLM's price performance has lagged behind its peers. As of May 2025, XLM is currently trading around 28 cents, posting only a modest 2.8% gain over the last month, even as Bitcoin surged 14% in the same period. It is a stark reminder that while fundamentals matter, momentum and market sentiment they often dictate short-term moves. But with new integrations and long-term goals in motion, Stellar's upside, it could in fact be far from priced in. The shared origins of Ripple and Stellar. To understand the dynamics between Ripple, XRP, and Stellar, XLM, it is essential to delve into their shared history, specifically the role of Jed McCaleb, the prominent figure in the cryptocurrency world. McCaleb co-founded Ripple in 2012, aiming to revolutionize cross-border payments by creating a decentralized protocol that could in fact facilitate instant and low-cost international transactions. However, in 2013, McCaleb, he departed from Ripple due to differing visions within the company's leadership regarding the project's overall direction and management of its digital asset, XRP. In 2014, seeking to address the issues he perceived at Ripple, McCaleb co-founded Stellar with Joyce Kim. While Stellar's codebase initially mirrored that of Ripple, the project's mission diverged significantly. Stellar aimed to promote financial inclusion by focusing on underbanked populations and facilitating low-cost remittances, specifically in developing countries. The vision was supported by the establishment of the Stellar Development Foundation, known as the SDF, a nonprofit organization dedicated to overseeing the network's growth and ensuring its alignment with the goal of democratizing access to financial services. The philosophical differences between Ripple and Stellar, they are evident in their operational approaches. Ripple has concentrated on forming those partnerships with established financial institutions, offering solutions to enhance the efficiency of existing banking systems. In contrast, Stellar has prioritized creating open access financial infrastructure, enabling individuals and organizations to finally participate in the global economy without relying on traditional banking intermediaries. This distinction reflects McCaleb's commitment to fostering a much more inclusive financial ecosystem through Stellar. Despite their divergent paths, the shared lineage of Ripple and Stellar continues to influence their development and the perception of their respective digital assets, XRP and XLM. Investors and observers alike, they often compare the two projects, considering their common origin and the contrasting strategies they employ to achieve similar overreaching goals of improving global financial transactions. What Stellar is doing differently from Ripple. Even though Ripple and Stellar share early roots, their approaches today couldn't be more different. Ripple has become deeply entrenched in institutional finance, working with banks, payment providers, and governments to help upgrade the infrastructure of international money movement. Its focus is top-down, secure long-term partnerships, regulatory clarity, and make XRP a critical liquidity tool in traditional finance. Stellar, on the other hand, is going bottom-up. It's all about a public financial network that anyone can access, even without a bank account. Stellar's vision, it centers on financial inclusion, giving underserved populations access to global money flows. The Stellar Development Foundation operates as a nonprofit, prioritizing open source development and utilizing cases like remittances, small business payments, and tokenized assets. Rather than targeting big banks, Stellar partners with fintech startups, humanitarian organizations, and even entire governments to make money more accessible and programmable for all. Another major difference is their technological stack. Ripple has in fact kept many of its integrations for more private and permission purposes. Catering to the needs of enterprise users, Stellar has emphasized public infrastructure. Stellar's blockchain is a fully open source, allowing developers from around the world to build on top of it, while its Stellar consensus protocol enables fast and cheap payments without relying on traditional mining or staking systems. And that's a very big deal. In addition to, Stellar has aggressively pursued real-world asset tokenization. As mentioned earlier, their goal to bring $3 billion with a B in tokenized assets on-chain by the end of 2025 is a bold one with a capital B. But it positions them as a major player in the RWA space. And if you do not know what RWAs are, or you're not familiar with them, please do your own research. This right here, it sets them apart from Ripple's current primary use case of institutional settlement and bank partnerships, suggesting that while both aim to modernize finance, they're targeting fundamentally different things. Both coins move together in the market. When it comes to market behavior, XRP and XLM have long shown a strong correlation in their price movements. This shouldn't be surprising. Both assets were born from similar foundations, and they tend to attract similar types of investors. Whenever XRP experiences a major rally, XLM often follows suit shortly after, and vice versa. They become something of a pair trade in the altcoin world, if you will. If one moves, the other typically reacts. This connection is especially noticeable during bull markets. For example, in the 2017 bull market run, XRP surged over, are you ready for it? 38,000%. That's right, at its peak. And Stellar followed very closely behind, with gains of more than 28,000%. No joke. In the 2021 cycle, both assets, they experienced large swings, though XRP was more constrained due to its ongoing legal battle with the SEC. Still, XLM's performance, it largely mirrored XRP's, despite the difference in market caps and exposure. Even in 2025, we've seen both assets spike during periods of positive sentiment around cross-border payments or when major financial institutions are making moves in the blockchain space. Part of the reason for this correlation is investor psychology. Many retail traders, they see XLM as the cheaper version of XRP, and they tend to use it as a secondary exposure play. Others, they tend to hedge their bets between the two, assuming that developments in the payments and fintech space will lift both boats. This kind of behavior reinforces the pattern, making it self-fulfilling during market-wide uptrends. However, it is profoundly important to note that while they often move together, their fundamentals are not identical. Differences in partnerships, adoption rates, and strategic direction can all create divergence in performance over time. As we look to the next leg of this bull market, keeping an eye on both projects and their unique catalysts, it could give investors an edge in spotting which might run harder or faster when the market heats up. XRP versus XLM. Adoptions, integrations, and market cap. While XRP and XLM often move together, a closer look at their adoption and market dynamics, they reveal clear differences. XRP currently has a significantly larger market cap, hovering around $55 billion as of mid-2025, making it a top 10 crypto by market value. XLM, on the other hand, it sits closer to the $8 billion range, placing it further down the list. This disparity is largely due to Ripple's aggressive institutional strategy, which has led to real-world integrations with hundreds of banks, financial institutions, and payment providers globally. Ripple has built strong partnerships with central banks and is involved with pilot programs for digital currencies, including CBDCs. In regions like Japan, the Middle East, and parts of Latin America, Ripple's infrastructure is already continuing to be used to process cross-border payments. XRP also benefits from Ripple's direct push for regulatory clarity in the US, thus giving it a much higher profile among policymakers and institutional players. These factors make XRP a much more prominent choice for investors that are seeking exposure to enterprise blockchain adoption. XLM, on the other hand, they have carved out a niche mission rooted in accessibility and humanitarian use. The Stellar Development Foundation, it continues to work with organizations exactly like the UN and the World Bank on financial inclusion projects. Those are big deals. XLM is frequently used in low-cost remittance apps and projects that are focused on tokenizing real-world assets. Please do your own research on RWAs. While these use cases are equally valuable, they haven't yet translated into the same scale of adoption yet, or investor hype that XRP commands in this institutional space. So which is the better hold? From a purely adoption and integration standpoint, XRP is ahead of the curve. But XLM's lower market cap means it has more room to grow percentage-wise, especially if a major partnership or use case triggers renewed market interest. In the end, it may not be about choosing just one, but understanding which each asset represents and how they might perform under different market conditions. Which is the better investment? So which is the better investment, XRP or XLM? The truth is, it depends on what kind of investor that you are and what you're betting on. XRP currently has the edge when it comes to institutional adoption, real-world partnerships, and regulatory traction. It's also deeply embedded in the financial infrastructure of dozens of countries and continues to grow its footprint through Ripple's aggressive expansion. For investors that are looking for a more stable, higher profile asset with strong backing and clearer roadmaps, XRP likely stands out as the safer bet. On the other hand, XLM appeals to the investors who believe in grassroots adoption and disruptive use cases. Stellar's focuses on financial inclusion, tokenization of real-world assets, and open access to financial tools puts it in a completely different league of impact. If Stellar's RWA strategy plays out, or if major governments begin leveraging its infrastructure at scale, XLM could offer a much higher upside relative to its market cap. It's definitely a higher risk, higher reward scenario. It's also worth noting that both projects are deeply connected in investor psychology. Historically, when XRP pumps, XLM tends to follow. But this doesn't mean that they'll always move in lockstep. As ecosystem evolves and the broader market matures, their paths, they could diverge. Watching news, announcements, and strategic shifts from Ripple and the Stellar Development Foundation will be all critical in deciding which coin to back more heavily. At the end of the day, both XRP and XLM are the strong contenders in the race to modernize global payments. XRP has traction today, but XLM has untapped potential. The smart money may not be choosing one or the other, but being prepared to pivot based on which project execute better in the months ahead. XRP versus XLM, the final word. Two crypto powerhouses with shared roots but very different roads ahead. XRP is the institutional favorite, backed by Ripple's aggressive partnerships and global payment infrastructure. It's already being utilized by major banks, tested by central banks, and holds a dominant market position. XLM, on the other hand, is the underdog with a mission, bringing financial access to the billions who are underserved. It may not have the same market share, but it has massive potential if the tokenization and the financial inclusion strategies catch fire. What does this mean for you? It means both assets, they're worth watching. But which one you bet on? It depends on your investment style. If you want exposure to regulatory breakthroughs, enterprise deals, and stability, XRP, it might be your winner. If you're after early stage upside and believe in open access financial tools, XLM could be the one to watch. Or if you're like many smart investors, maybe you hold both and you let the market decide. If this video helped you break down the XRP versus XLM debate, please be sure to smash that like button, subscribe to JRNY TV, and hit that bell so you never miss an update. Let us know in the comments. Are you team XRP? Maybe you're team XLM, or maybe you're hedging your bets with both. Either way, we're definitely here for it. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay sharp, stay early, and we will see you in the next one.